Way down here in the rebel city of Cork. We drove down today, and I have to say, nice drive down. It was quite sunny, a couple of patches of rain, and then until we got down to Brian, how you going? Then once we got down, the traffic basically drowned to a halt. But eventually we got here, got fed, and we're up now at the Cork Whisky Fest, where we are walking around doing our bits and pieces. I've got a little drink in my hand. And there's loads of people down here that we don't normally get up in Belfast because, well, it's a fair distance. However, we're going to start because the mountain didn't come to Muhammad, Muhammad came to the mountain. So, we are coming over here to talk to, introduce yourself, tell us who you are and what you do.
Hello, my name is Corey. I am the new Ireland brand ambassador for McConnell's Irish Whiskey. All of Ireland, yes. Before that, I started with back in July with McConnell's as the sort of export global brand ambassador. So I was travelling a little bit more, and now I'm moving into that really precious role of looking after the home market, which I'm super, super happy to do.
Not as much travelling to do, but one thing I will say. Earlier last week, I was up in your brand new, spanking, shiny new distillery. And I have to say, it was beautiful. They've done some job up in that place. It's fantastic.
Have indeed, yes. Now, one of the lucky ones to get up there nice and early before doors open to the
first ever tour.
Doors are opening to the paying customer on Wednesday of this week, which is mad to say because the actual project itself has been in the works for 8 years now. And to actually have you up there as one of the first people to walk in through the doors and see the distillery, it's something we're super, super proud of, and we're really excited now to start and welcome people in.
Well, put like this, there was a lot of high-vis vests about when a lot of people were cleaning in high-vis vests, so they're very important then.
I couldn't wait to get that email through that said, no more hard hats. You didn't need that helmet hair anymore. I was buzzing.
I'm sure Sarah was probably happy with that as well. So Sarah always looked very glam, you know. No hard hats
I
available.
don't look very glam, no?
Yes. Yes. So, how are you finding this festival?
Great. It's my first time ever in Cork, let alone Cork Whisky Fest. Long enough I'll drive down, but it's a great wee festival, and it's great to get chatting to people, you know, from somewhere a lot further away than Belfast. You know, it's not like people can just pop in and out of Belfast for a wee day trip. You know, it's a long enough drive, but it's lovely to get down here, and, you know, I've been chatting to a lot of people that have said, look, haven't heard of the brand before, and that's why we love doing these shows, you know, spreading the word around, you know, our home island, which is just great.
I mean, getting everything round, and I mean, for the week that it is, you finally getting everything opened up and moving on, and I mean, you guys have a big presence in Belfast, let's be honest. I mean, I work in the Friend at Hand, and we ship out a load of stuff. It's dead easy to sell. But now that you've got a base, you've established that, probably moving out and spreading down to the Cork and all that is probably a good idea.
Yeah, this is it. So obviously our whole thing is that we are a Belfast-born brand. We're one of the main whisky distilleries back in sort of the 1800s in Belfast. To put Belfast that sort of epicentre of distillation in terms of Irish whisky exports. So to actually bring this old brand back to Belfast, where it was founded initially all those nearly 250 years ago now, is something we're super proud of, and that's why we want Belfast to be our hub. And as you say, now we get that chance that we have our real core hub now. We actually have an operational distillery and visitor experience that we can now start and push out and about the rest of Ireland and the rest of the world, and start and welcome people to come and visit us and see our very own visitor experience.
Well, it's in the Crumlin Road Jail, which is, let's be honest, it's a unique place. I mean, and the way you've done it is very sympathetic. You've kept loads and loads and loads of the old features, probably is more than most people would have even attempted to. But it is a very sort of odd setting for a distillery because, well, not the first legal distillery, the first legal one that's been in there. But the way you've done it's fantastic. I mean, that is a fantastic setting.
Yeah, so obviously it is, as you say, it's a Grade A heritage listed building, so there's those sort of legalities. We can't be changing far too much of the exterior. So the likes of, if you look on our Instagram, you can see the videos of our hot stills. They had to be dropped in through a little hole in the roof as well, which is unbelievable to watch. You know, just about fit in there, but they're in now and they're ready to rock and roll, get turned on. But as you say, keeping very much sort of that initial setting of the prison itself. You know, if you actually stand and have a wee look, you can see the arches where the beautiful green V-shaped columns will stand. They're supporting where the walls used to be of the prison cells, the arches. We have white tiles on the floor that you can see exactly where those walls used to stand. So once you're standing, you actually can appreciate that that used to be that real old historic prison, a building that has an awful lot of heritage. And, you know, to bring an old brand like ourselves into such an old historic building in Belfast, our home, is something. It was a match made in heaven.
And the thing is, you guys they're looking at getting the stills turned on incoming week, or maybe the week after.
Definitely in the next couple of weeks. Definitely in the next couple of weeks. You know, it's that sort of weird teething phase at the minute where it's like it's going to happen tomorrow and then it doesn't. But definitely in the next couple of weeks we'll hopefully have some new mix spirit coming off those stills.
Well, Graham has to do the cleaning run first. There's a couple of cleaning runs, and
I'm really glad that's not my job. You know, all these cleaning phases and stuff, that's why Sean and I have come all the way to Cork to get as far away from that as possible. So
don't get the marigolds on. Now, you guys are doing a cask purchaser program, but it's a slightly different thing, you know, because if you buy a cask, your name's in lights more or less, or name's eternity there.
Essentially, yeah. So this is going to be our first cask program. It's called the 250 Guild, and it's one of these things. It's not really an investment of the head. It's more an investment of the heart. You're not just investing in that cask of liquid, that cask of whiskey. You're investing in the story of McConnell's and all these years that have passed and all these years to come now as well. You're investing in the renovation project of this new distillery and visitor experience in Belfast. And it is, you know, a lot of people will say whenever you're selling cask, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Yeah. It is, you know, it really, really is. And as you say, your name up in lights, we will have a feature in the distillery that will have your name there. You can come and visit it. You'll be able to come down once a year to visit your cask, go and say hello to it. It'll have your name on it as well. And there's a lot of good, great wee perks coming along with it as well. But it is that investment in the brand and in that history and in Belfast itself, as opposed to just buying a cask of liquid.
And I mean, your unique setting, the brand, the bottling, all the story that you tell. I think the bottle is unbelievably well done. It's so good. You've down the two you have on the market at the minute is the green label, which is.
So this is our signature blend, really premium blended Irish whiskey. This was our first release once we revived the brand back in 2020. This was released. It's 5 years old. All 5 years are spent in first fill ex-bourbon barrels. This liquid is bottled at 42% ABV. So
I like that.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, it's not that sort of bare minimum. You want to jump a little bit higher to sort of piggyback off that premium aspect of it. Super light, super sweet, really easy sipping whiskey. Anywhere I go, I always say in Ireland we call it breakfast whiskey. And I've told that to a couple of people at this festival and they say, you're like the fourth person that said that. So it's not just me, but really easy sipping. It's a beautiful, versatile whiskey. You can sip it neat. You can have it cocktails, mixed drinks, Irish coffees. Yeah. It is absolutely gorgeous. Comes in a beautiful bottle as well.
The bottle just is fantastic. And then the next one you have is the red label.
Yes, so this is our Oloroso Sherry cask finish. Initially this was released at the end of 2022 as a limited edition. Everybody loved it, flew off the shelves, give the people what they want. It's back now to stay as part of the core range. It's 5 years in first fill ex-bourbon and then between 9 to 12 months finished in Oloroso Sherry casks. This is bottled at 46% ABV. It's non-chill filtered, so you get that lovely, almost viscous mouthfeel, really oily mouth coating, much longer lingering finish. The Irish Whiskey Awards, the end of last year, this came away with the winning medal for the best blended Irish whiskey with an age statement on the bottle, which is a huge category in Ireland. And to win that, we're super, super proud.
At 5 years old.
Exactly, yeah. You know, it's one of those ones I would say to people, you know, that's 5 years old, and they're actually almost shocked. Yeah. They don't expect it to be just as smooth and just as easy to drink.
I mean, it is. The sherry that you get off that is a lot more than other brands that have longer age statements. Let's just put it like that. Yeah. For a blend that's really, really well done. Really well done.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I find it's that nice level of sherry. It's not like an absolute sherry bomb, that it's a little bit too pungent, too overpowering, but it's also not too weak. It's that lovely level where it just hits you in that nice sweet spot and that lovely long lingering finish as well.
Well, if you're a whiskey guy, you like whiskey. You don't like. If you're a sherry guy, you like sherry. And I think it's a super whiskey. It's really, really good. I think what you guys have done in a relatively short space of time and getting the distillery up and running, well done. You know, congratulations. My hat off to you. And it just adds to the whole scene in Belfast. You know, fantastic. Listen, I'm going to move on. We're going to go and meet other people. Corey, nice to get speaking to you. Dan, are you getting all right? I'm going to head on. I'll speak to you later on. Take care. Take care. Yes. Now, as I say, this place is hiving. There's loads of people, and we see my Cork translators here.
Mike wasn't working, we'll have to do it again.
Right. Lucinda, come over here. I've got Lucinda here. There's that camera's looking at you, honey, all right? Lucinda is my translator for all Corkonians. If I come down here and people go, here, come here to me, I go, what?
That means go up there, keep going up, and then when you meet him on the corner, keep going a bit more, and then when you can't go any further, no more, you go down, and it'd be down there like.
Aye.
Girl.
Aye.
Boy.
She's even more legible than most people from Cork, let's be honest. But the reason she speaks Cork is because you're married to one.
Oh, yeah.
God
and
love
I still
you.
don't understand him.
No, neither did I. Remember doing a tour with you, and every time we spoke, I went, sorry?
What's that?
Sorry? Well, how are you getting on here?
Mighty.
It's amazing.
It is incredible. I missed it last year, but I'm so glad to be here this year. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
We done a quick run round just to see, hook up with a couple of people and say hello and and all that kind of stuff. And there's some fantastic guys. I mean, guys that have never came to Belfast. So maybe we haven't seen enough of these guys, It's nice that some of the Belfast
I think
brands.
you're going to see a lot more faces.
Hopefully.
You will. I'm putting them all up.
Right.
So look out in July.
Good. All I will say is, if I run into anybody from Cork, what I'll do is I'll get them to write it down, and then I'll come and find you out this end, and you can translate it for me.
We'll do that.
All right, honey.
So my advice is you just nod and agree and smile. And then good luck.
And then just walk on. Here, I'll see you later on. Right, excuse me. We're going to go over here and see if we can get hooked up with a brand that's I've always been a fan of. Hello. Irish Whiskey Review. Can I get a word with you? Come on over and speak to us. You're on camera now.
No.
Come on. Stand outside this here. Come here. Can I introduce myself? I'm Marty from the Irish Whiskey Review. I don't think I've met you before.
No, you haven't.
What's your name?
Nicole.
Nicole from Writer's Tears, Irishman.
Well, yes and no.
Right. Why?
Because I am the brand manager for Dalcassian Wine and Spirits.
Okay.
And Writer's Tears and Irishman are part of our portfolio.
Excellent. Now, I've been a fan of Writer's Tears for a very, very long time. I think it's one of those wonderful blends, really, really accessible, really, really affordable, and fantastic. I just wish I'd started to buy the collection as they came out, because you're bound to have noticed that your annual release cask strength bottles are starting to do this. I hope you've got a set in the house.
I would hope so too.
No? Yes, no? That's a bit of a faux pas. So how are you getting on? How's this brand coming out for you? Doing okay?
No, we've had a fantastic 2 nights. Really good positive feedback from customers. They're really enjoying the Writer's Tears and Irishman. I think a lot of people have tasted Writer's Tears previously, but haven't tasted the Irishman, and so we're introducing the Irishman to them and definitely the different variations that we have. And just a great success tonight, last 2 evenings.
You guys have done a rebrand recently of the Irishman. In the last sort of year, they had a rebrand.
From what I understand, yes. I'm new to the brand, literally by 2 months. So you've really put me on the spot tonight.
Don't worry. Justin behind the camera knows absolutely bugger all about whiskey. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So don't worry about it, okay? And he does a show every week and has learnt nothing. In 10 minutes you'll know more than he does, I assure you. So where's your accent from?
South Africa.
South Africa. The weather here is fairly similar in Cork to South Africa, correct?
No, not quite at all. If I could we turn up the dial on some heat and some sunshine, then I'd be happy.
No, that ain't going to happen. That's not going to happen. So what's been the best received out of the stuff that you have? Because I'm a big fan of just basic Writer's Tears.
Yeah.
I love it. But I know you've got the copper pot, you have the double oak, you have the tequila cask one that came out.
Yep.
So what one's been best received for you?
So I think we've already had some nice comments and success over the last 2 nights on double oak, as well as the cask strength 2023. And then we've got a sneaky little bottle of the tequila cask on the floor. Have you tasted it?
I have, but I'll take another go at it. I don't mind if I do now. I don't mind if I do.
I mean, you can't go wrong when it comes to the bottle and the label. I mean, out of this world.
I think it's beautiful. I'm a big fan of the Ulysses one as well, because I have about 8 bottles of it. One opened and the rest all stuck away for collectible purposes. I mean, you guys have went through, as a brand, it's went through quite a bit of change since it originally came out. But it's actually quite accessible. It's available in quite a lot. You've very good distribution.
Yes.
So if anyone hasn't tried Writer's Tears, I thoroughly suggest getting a hold of a bottle. It's super stuff. So what's the tequila one? Tell me a bit more about the tequila, and then give me a bit more about what the future holds for Writer's Tears and the Irishman.
So I think there's lots in the pipeline for Writer's Tears and Irishman. I'm not going to let away too many secrets because I'm not allowed to, and I'd like to keep everybody expecting or waiting for the next launch or
it's like
the new release.
It's like the Spanish Inquisition. Expect the unexpected. No one expects the Writer's Tears.
Exactly. From a tequila cask, I think the joy is that tequila. We have a tequila distillery that we have an association within the brands. So the joy here is that the tequila distillery wants Irish whiskey casks, and Irish whiskey producers want tequila casks. So, and we have both of that in our portfolio, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So I think that really just gives us a little bit of a foot up ahead. Yeah.
That's lovely. That's lovely because there's a lovely fruity sort of strawberry notes that they sort of finish at that really sort of you don't really expect. It sort of lifts it in a way that you don't really expect that spirit to go. And I think that's a really, really nice whiskey, but I really like the brand anyway, but that's a really nice one.
I think it's a really nice addition to the brand and to the portfolio. So, yeah, I'm so glad that you've enjoyed it.
Oh, I've been singing the praises of Writer's Tears for a long time, and I was telling people to buy the collection, because as a collectible, and I know loads of people who, oh no, whiskey's all for drinking, it's for drinking, it's for drinking. Yes, they get that. But when it's all said and done, loads of people like collections, and the collectible aspect of that yearly release, and the value of it now is just going like that. People realise just how good the whiskey is, and just how limited the numbers are. I mean, a few years ago, I mean, it was down in about 1,200 bottles, something like that. So really, really rare. As a brand, I think you guys are doing super things, and it really has been. I've been on singing the praises of Writer's Tears for 5-6 years now. And,
thank you.
And I mean, your entry bottle, you know, the standard bottle. Yeah.
The copper pot?
That's beautiful. Yeah. Price range, that's about €40, something like
45
euro. I live up north, so it's about £35 where I'm from, 35, £40, depending on where you are. But yeah, I think it's a super, super drink. Brilliant everyday whiskey, really drinkable, nice in a cocktail if you like that kind of thing.
And it's so interesting what we've seen is some people who have really enjoyed the copper pot Writer's Tears don't necessarily enjoy the harvest of the Irishman and vice versa.
Yeah.
So I had a couple here, she really enjoyed Writer's Tears and the gentleman really enjoyed the harvestman. The Irishman, the harvest. And it was just so nice that we could facilitate and offer as a couple two very different whiskies, both bourbon-based or bourbon-matured whiskies, but quite different styles. Yeah, which is lovely.
You know, I have to say, I like the brand. My only pet peeve about Writer's Tears is the bottles are too tall. It's hard when you get a shelf. I know loads of people that have built shelves for their whiskey collection, and they're like, it doesn't fit.
It is just a little bit of a taller bottle, yes. But what can I say? We have to be different somehow.
As a critique, it's not the worst thing in the world. The whiskey's fabulous. The story behind it's great. Your portfolio's superb.
Thank you.
Price point is fantastic. I'll maybe having a slightly taller bottle. That's not the biggest thing in the world, you know. But yeah.
Thank you very much, and it was really lovely talking to you tonight.
No problem. We're going to head on round. Is this your first one of these?
This is my first one of these. This is a baptism of fire. So first whiskey festival in Ireland. and I think we've done pretty well.
But look, what I would say is, this isn't a baptism of fire. Laurie O'Dwyer runs a very good ship, very tight ship. Everything's all well done, and the guys in here probably have a clue what they're doing. There are other whisky festivals, and you'll meet them.
I'm sure I will.
People go like that. No, this is great. This is super. We come down today, 5 hours drive, all the way from the very north coast, all the way down.
Yep.
And it's great being down here. It really is.
Well, enjoy the rest of your evening. Drink lots of good whiskies.
I will try my best.
And it was lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you as well.
Thank you very much.
We're probably going to try and get a word with Jarlath here.
Go for it. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So that's Writer's Tears, one of my favourite brands. A lot of people see this and they think it's like a really sort of cheap blend kind of thing. It's not. It's really, really, really well crafted and really worth getting your hands on a bottle of Writer's Tears. Any of the range are really well worth getting. Now, I wanted to go in and see Jarlath Watson here because he's just sitting beside us. But Jarlath, surprise, surprise, is snowed under because he has a pile of various bits and pieces of sort of special bottlings. But what I think we'll do is, I spy another guy across the road here, and I think we'll take a run over and see if we can get hooked up with Francis. So follow us over. Now, just as I go over to see him, Francis is talking to somebody. Can I grab a word with you, Francis?
Yeah, of course.
Now, oh no, he's not in trouble. He's getting a wee interview. For anyone who doesn't know, Francis is sort of a little out of his comfort zone here because Francis is the botchine man.
I am the botching man.
I hear you got talking to Justin there a few weeks ago. I apologise in retrospect. You had to split up with Justin and I wasn't there to sort of act as a vanguard between the two. But how are you getting on?
Very well, really enjoying Cork Whisky Fest. It's a great setup, isn't it? And yeah, tomorrow afternoon we're doing a Puchin masterclass. So looking forward to that again. And so it's just great that Puchin is beginning to get a bit of a foothold.
I saw an article the other day. Was it in Forbes magazine and the New York Post, and
That's right, yeah.
where they wrote an article on St Paddy's Day all about Puchin.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, and I'm rightly getting back to where it should really be, you know.
Yeah. And it was a really positive, contemporary article. It was great. It wasn't some old tweed stuff, you know. So yeah, the masterclass tomorrow should be good. There'll be some lovely Puchins, as usual. There'll be even some from Kings County in New York and from transportation down in Tasmania. So it'll be a really good experience.
Funny, I haven't seen Johnny Holton about anywhere. He's about here, isn't he?
He's down the end and to the right.
Ah, yeah. I went down and went left, and I ended up over with Jim Doherty. Jim Doherty's on the other side. All right.
Yeah.
So I went down there. But so what have you been trying here? Have you anything of real note?
No, the Boilock stuff is delicious. Transportation is delicious. Blackwater I've had is gorgeous. Some two stacks. Mick have a lovely new single malt coming out. And that's as much as I've done so far. No, I'll get there.
I'm sort of strange because I've been round about half a dozen things already before I started doing the interview. And now this is about my 10th drink, and hang on, I need to slow down a little bit here, you know. But us hardened drinkers are all right. We'll be all right. We'll be fine.
We'll be grand.
But yeah, it's good to get catch up with you again,
and
we'll get a chat with you at some other point.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. How's the art going? Have you any more artistic pieces coming along?
Oh yeah, well there's always something new coming out, and I have a whole series coming out around distilleries and whiskey bars as well. So
excellent.
It'll be on the website to look out for.
Excellent. Good. I'm glad. I'm going to try and grab here with Peter
Michael.
Michael, sorry. I'm going to try and see if I can get a yarn here with Michael and see what else he's doing. Right,
Good
Francis, speak. Cheers as always, buddy. Right, hopefully, because Michael's busy talking away here, I want to try and get a little chat with this man because he's been doing stuff that is, I mean, really, really, really amazing spirits. Something a bit special. Justin wants a word here, so that's be good.
We'll better say hello to some of the people watching tonight. All the usual suspects are watching tonight, and it is noisy. Always tell us if you can't hear us or something like that, but it is very noisy. There's a lot of background noise. I'm having to monitor it with the headphones in, but remember to comment, like and share. We are monitored, so if you ask us a question, we will get round it. So good evening to Peter Graith. Hope you'll catch up with Marty tomorrow. Sean McClanahan as well. Watson as well is watching. All the usual suspects. You're missing a real treat here, folks. This is a buzzing place in the Metropolitan Hotel. It's absolutely fantastic. The room Marty and Julie have is at the corner overlooking the River Lee, and it's absolutely stunning. Totally stunning. Marty's just lining up the next interview. It's probably going to be Ballylick. Kingsale is here as well. Conor Kelty is here. The Tour Glass people are here as well. And it is literally buzzing. So I think Marty's ready to go. So here he is. Yep.
Now, we're going to get a quick yarn here because honestly, this man's been in demand, and I don't want to hold him back because he's got possible potential customers here. But Michael Bailiff.
Yeah, Boylock Distillery. Yeah.
You guys are Donegal's County Down Cologne. What you guys do is off the chart in many ways.
Yeah, well, we're just a very small distillery. It's just myself that runs the distillery, and we're producing about 1 to 2 casks a week. It's kind of all about experimenting, small batches of, we've done peated, single malt, pot still. We're starting to do a lot of oat, rye, corn whiskey. And in the future we'll start doing a lot of local grains where we grow the grain around the distillery, and we're kind of doing that. It's a kind of a terroir nearly, and when you're out kind of west of Ireland, West Donegal, yeah, you really do taste terroir because the land is kind of so rugged, and you can get the kind of the mossiness and the saline and the farmyard kind of thing.
But put it like this, there's nothing between you and Canada, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And, it's all about big flavours and knowing that you have a Boylock in your glass and knowing what it tastes like. And it's distinctive kind of.
But like I say, I have a fair few bottles of your stuff down at home, and some of it's knock your socks off stuff. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, we're just trying to pack in as much flavour as possible, and as a small distillery, that's kind of what the aim is. If you're going to do it very, very flavour forward.
But I mean, the flavour you put into a whiskey, and it's not even technically a whiskey a lot of the time.
Nothing here tonight is. I think the oldest thing we have is 18 months, and some of it is 9 months. I've stuff here 7 months, and to me, the barrel is a botanical on top of the spirit that you're putting in there, and that's the aim. Give me flavour in the spirit.
But your mash bills can be a bit odd too. You can have very difficult mash bills, would say the least. Difficult.
Yeah. I'd say that the hardest mash bill is corn and rye. They're very hard to work with. Oat, I find, is very reasonable. A lot of people have opposite experiences.
A lot of people say it's like glue.
Yeah. But for me, the rye and the corn are very much like that. But the oat, maybe I've had to kind of come up with a better way, because in the future, oat will be a big part of the distillery mash bill, because we can grow it very easily in West Donegal. The kind of peaty soil, acid soil, lends itself to oats, and we're kind of going more and more oaty because we can grow more and more oat.
And do you think that it enhances the terroir, or is that is it because you can grow it? You think that maybe lends itself to what you're doing, or is it sort of a happy accident? Or
I'd say it's a happy accident, but for me, the terroir kind of only comes forward when you don't over distill it. You have to distill very slowly to kind of try and keep as much flavour in the spirit. And if you can't go kind of deep into the tails and pull all the flavour over, it's not really going to fulfil the concept of terroir, because if you can't really taste any difference, it's, you know, is the terroir there? It's very, very difficult thing to.
If you're going to boil it out, then I suppose.
Yeah. And like, you can definitely taste the kind of the maritime vibe coming through, and the yields are very, very poor where we are. So the ratio of husk to starch in the grains is very. It's not a great ratio, but the more husk, there's a lot more flavour, and then that comes through in the final spirit. And you know.
Now, what have you brought here today? Because you say none of this is actually technically a whiskey, but so what all have you brought?
Well, we've got a kind of a mixture of this is the Grand Hatch, which is the grains of the place. So this is grown within the 5K of the distillery, and that's a 9-month-old 64-litre port cask. And then, you know, we have a rye whiskey, which is in PX.
Rye sour mash.
Yeah, rye sour mash.
And that's only 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months in PX. You know, it's pretty cloudy.
Wow. I mean, look.
Yeah.
Yes, I like the way you left some of the cask there.
And you know, this is corn spirit, or you know, it'll be corn whiskey pretty soon. A nice. This is the oldest we have here tonight. It's 18 months, so that's a peated sherry cask.
Can I grab a bit of the rye sour, because that looks really weird?
Yeah, but that's going to be that's only 3 months old. 3 months old, so it's going to be. You know, it's going to be very new making now.
Don't worry. Don't panic now. Don't panic now.
And rye can be prickly. But you know, it only went in the winter, so you know.
Straight away, you know what that reminds me of? You know those pear pickling porky, you know, lollipops?
Yeah, I haven't.
You know that sort of pineapple-y ice lolly type thing? Yeah, that's straight away.
But, you know, in about 9 or 10 months, you'll start to get more of a vibe of how that's going, because even the rye and the oat and the corn, it's kind of we've only been laying that stuff down maybe since like June or July last year, and we're slowly kind of building momentum on it. You know,
that's such a weird mash bill. That's such a weird flavour profile. So once you do it on the finish, it starts going all sort of cloves and stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's what we're kind of trying to do. Have a complex kind of layered spirit. Like that will change so much in the maturation, and it'll kind of find its own way in a trajectory.
That's really, 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 really different. Really different.
Well, you should really taste. If you want really different, you should taste this. That's going to be the terroir kind of project. You know, I don't know if we got a little glass there, but
that is so packed full of flavour. That there, or sorry, that.
Yeah, well, you know, the smaller the distillery, kind of, the more flavour you can add. That's what I found, because, you know, the smaller stills just have that ability. And it's a more of a slow distillation. Our distillation would be maybe twice as long as you know, other bigger distilleries, and that lends itself to carrying over more flavour, more oils, and those oils are all part of the flavour.
Just on the finish on that sour mash bottling, that goes really, really sort of clove, big sour cherries, and then moves over into and they there's almost metallic in the end. It's really different. That's lovely.
And
really strange.
This is the Grand na Hatch, which is the grains of the place. That's
the colour of it.
Yeah, that's 9 months, and that's the kind of the real flavour of West Donegal. Oat. It's 35% oat. We malted 23% on site, and then the rest is green barley. And all grown within about 5k of the distillery. And, you're really getting a different type of profile, a different flavour experience.
There's almost like a stewed rhubarb or something at the start of this.
Yeah, that's like a starburst kind of a... nearly like a confectionery cherry thing going on, and that's going to take time now to kind of, we'll see where it goes, because even for me, from the experience of everything, what you taste now is not what you might taste in 6 or 8 months or a year, and it can change drastically.
That is, the flavours that you're getting off these things is just totally different flavour profiles than anything else it's about.
Yeah. When I first started as a hobby distiller, I was kind of distilling out of kind of homemade pot stills and things like this. And
imagine somebody doing this in Donegal. Unbelievable, unheard of.
But the flavours you're getting there are so different from commercial whiskey that I kind of followed that angle, and I kind of ignored the commercial whiskey side.
That's like chalk and cheese. You can't compare the two.
And it's the home baking versus kind of commercial McDonald's kind of whiskey, and it's not really about casks and cask finishes. It's about the spirit that comes off the still and keeping the flavour in that spirit.
Honestly, those are both totally different flavour profiles than anything I've ever really tried before. There's not really anything I've ever in comparison to those two. I love the colour of a port cask. That lovely pinky colour that comes through.
Well, port is definitely a kind of go-to for the distillery. I just personally love port, and it does seem to match up with the distillery very well. And port and Marsala would be another kind of keen thing that I'm interested in.
I'm a big fan of Marsala cask white. I'm not a big fan of Marsala, but I love Marsala cask. They're extremely hard to get. And, as a small guy, buying casks these days must be a bit of a pain in the ass.
Yeah. The things that were easy are now very hard. Bourbons have become a nightmare to get.
They basically tripled in price.
You're paying nearly the same price for a bourbon as you are a virgin cask. For me, luckily, I'm doing this corn whiskey, so I can use it for corn, and then I essentially have my own bourbon cask maybe down the line. But I always did a lot of fortified wines and that type of thing. So bourbon is only a kind of a. I only do 50 to 100 casks a year, so bourbon's 10 casks a year or something. It's not a huge headache, but maybe in the future we can get up to that kind of maybe over 100 casks. But
double production.
Yeah, that'll be double production. And we're still in the development kind of phase.
Honestly, I have some really nice stuff that you guys have made.
Oh no, cheers!
Down in the house, the first cut stuff you brought out of all them. And I mean, the amount of flavour you pack into a spirit. You can't technically call it a whiskey, I suppose. The amount of flavour you guys pack in. I shouldn't say you guys because you're very much a one-man band. Unreal.
It's just a small, essentially family distillery. Myself and the significant other. A couple of kids. We live at the distillery. We grow the grain around the distillery, and we're just kind of, we sell some casks to fund the production that we do, and we're just kind of plugging away, upgrading the equipment slowly, and it's an organically kind of growing process.
Listen, I'm going to head on, let you get on to something.
Cheers,
Buddy,
cheers.
I think what you do is out of this world and keep up with what you're doing, and I'll get talking to you later. I'll talk to you at some other point. Okay. Honestly. Now, where are we going now, Justin?
I want to try some of this mead. Is that all right? I want to try some of the mead. I'm going to try some of the mead. Yes. So not only is there whiskey here, there's potchie, there's mead. I'm just giving Marty a wee break while he chitty chats to people. He's met Laurie. Maybe he wants to talk to Laurie. Do you want to talk to Laurie now?
One over here. Come on over this way, because I finally got him tracked down. It's the man himself. We were talking to him last week, so hey, you have to be happy with this.
This is, we're from the Cork Whisky Fest. I can't believe you came down. Fair play, chat. I'm delighted.
I couldn't get down last year, but I'm here now.
Absolutely.
I took a walk around here before we started doing any of this filming, and I have to say, you've got an old Cumber stand over there. You've got
that's like the amount of world exclusives.
That's the first
I said
one.
that on the thing, but like I wasn't joking. Lads have brought their A liquids. It's amazing. It's so cool. Like.
Before we started filming, I had about 3 or 4 different ones. I actually have a cask of old Cumber, cask of their pot still sitting down there, and I got to taste one that's 2 years older than what I have.
Happy with it? Good. Brilliant.
Would you be happy with it?
Yeah, I would be happy with it.
I got talking to Michael there a second ago. I mean, what he's doing is unbelievable.
Do you know
what
something,
he's doing.
like for such a small hitter,
Wow.
he hits hard. And like, you know, the people that I've seen come to this stand, and I'm not going to name them, but I've seen the names coming to Boylock and saying, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that they're doing it and that Michael has seen the industry heads coming and endorsing it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Well,
I'm so happy.
But like I tasted a liquid there. It's only a couple of months in cask. I mean, holy shit. That's a sour corn mash.
Yes, that's amazing.
Bloody
I tried that
hell.
last night.
I left it off. It's all cloudy and it's a bit
It's
odd.
like 7 months older.
I know. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Can you imagine his stuff in 10 years' time? It's like you won't be able to afford it.
Yeah, I mean, honest to God, I mean, what he's doing is just out of this world. But I'm not going to hold you too long because I'm sure you're running around, being busy.
But it's all right. It's all right.
I'm glad.
There's something for you, boy.
Oh, but
I'm delighted you came down. Thank you very much.
Listen, I'm glad you met Julie because Julie was dying to get meeting you.
Yeah.
And she said to me, "There's 4 things I want to do. One, I want to see Cork. Fair enough. I want to meet Jarlath, Fanon, and Laurie."
Oh, class. Well, I think
That's right.
that's a nice group to be grouped in with, so fair play.
She got to meet It was dead funny because she went over to see Jarlath, and Jarlath was sort of, "How you doing?" She says, "Oh, I'm Julie." "All right, dead on." And then I walked up behind her, put my arms around her, and went, "Oh, you're that Julie." Then she started hugging her. He started hugging her and stuff, you know. But yeah, it was nice. But listen, I'll let you get to her on there, and I'll speak to you later on. I'll see you later on for a drink. Listen, take care. See you soon. See you soon, buddy. Now, Justin's wanting to do a wee thing here. Are you, Justin? Justin's wanting to go in and get a bit of meat.
I'll give you a little break and I'll try some of this mead, Marty. Yeah, I'm going to try it. Yeah, so we're going to chat to Kinsale Mead Company very, very shortly. They're just busy with somebody, and we'll chat to them in a wee minute here on Irish Whiskey Review. Remember to comment, like and share. We're live on Twitter, we're live on Telegram, we're live on Facebook, we're live on loads and loads and loads of channels. And I'm just going to have a word. So, the camera is over there. There it is there. There it is there. I am here. My name's Justin from Irish Whiskey Review. And your name is?
Kate Dempsey.
Now, mead is actually one of the ancestors of all. Don't worry. If it was loaded, it would still walk in front of it. But listen. Mead is one of the ancestors of all alcohol, really, isn't it?
It seems to be the oldest alcohol in the world. Goes back to at least 6,500 BC. Yeah, 6,500 BC. I tried to work out the context of that. It's actually 4,000 years before we invented the wheel. You know, so if we were drinking for a long time before we were driving.
And how is mead made then?
It's very similar to making wine, great wine. We mix a bit, so it'll be like this one here will be 1/3 honey, 2/3 warm water. You mix that around, put in a wine yeast, and it'll ferment away. This is about 12%, so this will be a traditional mead here.
Do you have wee cups and I can try one of that because I don't have a glass with me?
Yeah, I probably have some here.
So we're about to try mead. Mead is a thing that I've always had a thing for because some people say I should have been a monk in a monastery. What do you think of that, folks? We're live at the Cork Whisky Festival here in the Metropole Hotel. I'm just going to try some mead from the Kinsale Mead Company. That's fine, that's fine.
So yeah, this will be a pure mead. It's the orange blossom honey that we get from Valencia in southern Spain. 12% off dry, very honeyed.
Right. And can you order this online?
Absolutely, yeah. Kinsale Mead Co. We're online. We're in lots of independent off licenses and specialty food stores and lots of super values, O'Brien's wines.
And it would be an ideal gift or present for Easter for somebody if you were going around for an Easter party, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. We do a fruit meads which are called melomel meads, and they go really well with the chocolate, particularly the wild red mead.
They do. They do. But listen, lovely talking to you. Remember?
No, you have to try one of these.
Oh, is this different?
This is aged in, it's a forest honey mead, aged in an Irish whiskey cask from Middleton Distillery. So it picks up all those kind of whiskey nuances, and also some of the flavours from the wood.
Wow, you can really taste the wood in that.
Yeah, and it's only 12%. Only 12%.
That's literally amazing. Thanks for talking to us.
Nice to
Catch
talk
you
to you.
again soon.
Lovely.
And remember to comment, like and share on Irish Whiskey Review. I'm just going to move on because people are going to walk in front of the camera.
Yeah. Go on ahead, Roddy. Go on ahead. Oh, sorry, sorry. And what was the mead like, Justin?
The mead was superb.
Justin enjoyed the mead. That's all you need to know. Justin enjoyed the mead. Now, where are we going to go next, buddy? Where are we going to go next? We've got a stand here. Jameson's here. Do we need to give Jameson any publicity? No, come on. Follow me. Cullen. I think we'll get a chat to one of our old friends here. if we can get in and get a quick yarn with him. We're going to get chatting to Sir Maurice O'Connell himself. How are you, sir?
Very good, thank you. Lovely to see you down in almost God's County. Next door to God's County.
Well, but like, did you eventually get parked? Hello, Mass, how you doing? So down here, now, nearly in the home place.
Yep.
How's things going for you? Good.
Really well. Can I offer you a sample of this I drew out this morning. This is our single estate, but we're 5 years old now.
Oh, is this 5 years old now?
Yeah, and we'll be releasing this soon.
So is this batch number 3?
No, actually we sneaked in a batch number 3 for the US. So we're going to have to think of a numbering system that doesn't look as if it's batch 120.
So now that you're hobnobbing with the mega stars over in Fred Minnick's of the world.
That, yeah.
Oh, I see most things. Fred Minnick was blown away by your stuff.
Yeah, that was almost embarrassing, just how keen he was on it. So,
I mean, to be fair, out of all of the whiskey guys, the whiskey influencers, whatever nonsense word they come up with these days, Fred Minnick's right at the very, very, very top.
Right.
And he's the guy. I can't fault him in the stuff that he does. I think he's superb. He's unbelievable.
And a very interesting guy, actually. He's a really interesting backstory. He's just
his backstory. He started off with food. It was all food, and then he moved over onto spirits and stuff, and he sort of translated everything over to it. So tell everybody what you said about your stuff.
Not that I remember, but I think it went something like, I've been doing this for 20 years, and occasionally you come across a brand that makes you stop and amazed at what they do. It's fantastic.
But like I said, I'm working up in the Friend at Hand now, and
I'll see you up there in a few weeks' time.
well, probably, hopefully. But one of the things that has now got almost embarrassing, because when someone comes in and what they say is, I'm looking at a present for my dad, something between £50 and £100, something a little bit interesting. Jim and Ray that are there have now started going, oh, just take them over to the Liberator. So they just take them straight over, because I know in terms of price point, what you do, everything I think. I mean, the single estate stuff is fabulous. It's just fabulous stuff. It really is. I mean,
well,
you know,
what really impresses me about you is that you buy the whiskey as well. You're not just.
I occasionally get sent some minis and stuff, but I try and buy everything I can, because otherwise it's kind of hard for me to go around. I'm not trying to kiss anybody's arse, so I don't really care. You know, so I just buy the stuff, and that way I know I'm not beholden to anybody.
Absolutely.
Exactly. But it's now got. They'll stand at the door. Yeah, Marty, take them down the Liberator, and the people are going.
Marty, we have a fan of Sir Morris here.
Oh,
hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you.
I let you to it.
And I thought that people in Kerry knew only about rain and bad weather.
We do.
Well, no, you know a lot about whiskey.
Thank you.
Absolutely stunning.
But like, excuse me. No, honestly, Fred Minnick of and who's a bourbon guy, basically just said that Sir Morris's stuff was out of this world. One over this way. Now, hello. Now, what was I saying? That's the 5-year-old single estate stuff from the Lakeview, and oh my God, that's such a good whiskey, such a good whiskey. Now we're going to see about getting over here to the Blacks distillery, because it's not something we've ever really talked about or talked to, so it'll be interesting to get a quick yarn with these guys. So come on, follow me over this way. I'll get a wee chat with you in a minute. Oh, but yeah, but Sir Morris, the accolades he got from Fred Minnick, and of all the whiskey critics in the world, Fred Minnick would be the big one, if I'm honest. And hopefully that doesn't force the price up for the Lakeview Estate stuff, because it really is just absolutely fabulous. Yeah, if you haven't tried the Liberator and the Tawny Port and the Lakeview Estate, you really have to. You really have to. Hello. I'm going to see if I can grab an interview here, if that's all right. If you want to come over here a little second. Now,
how are you?
I'm all right. I'm Marty from the Irish Whiskey Review.
Nice to meet you. I'm Darren from Black Spring Distilling in Kinsale.
Black's Distillery in Kinsale.
Correct.
Now, I know a guy from Kinsale that looks almost exactly the same as yourself.
A good-looking fella.
He's actually from Newcastle. He bought a house down there and he loves it. It's
a good spot, yeah. A nice part of the world, all right.
It is a nice part of the world. Now, how are you finding this? Tell us about Black's Distillery in Kinsale.
We're 11 years old now. Been making beer, gin, rum and whiskey now for about 5 years. And just opened a new brewery and distillery in Kinsale on the water, so beautiful spot.
That is a beautiful part of the world, really beautiful part of the world.
Yeah, 100%, like renowned for quality food and drinks. And now we're going to add more to the town, we believe, with the new distillery and visitor centre, which will be opening this year too. So yeah, growing and really exciting time for us, you know.
A visitor centre is a big step. It's something that because you guys are not a mega distillery, you're not big. Right. So it's a big step and a big expense. Do you think you're going to get the trade to come down to Kinsale?
I think so. I mean, it's a huge tourist town anyway. We did some studies with Falls Ireland, and I think we'll have tens of thousands of visitors this year, and it'll grow year on year. Visitor centre will compose of a bar in there, gin school, a shop, tours. There'll be a hospitality offering in there, so very, very exciting. And obviously on the same site we have a production of beer, whiskey, gin, rum and so on. So yeah, all on the one site and growing, so it's a really exciting time.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it really is. Now, what all have you brought to this festival? What all have you brought here?
We have a whole range of the Maverick whiskies here today. I've got single grain whiskies here, single malt whiskies, some blends. I've got some peated whiskey here as well. So we can try one if you'd like to try anything in particular.
What's your favourite, Darren? Give us a hint.
They're like my kids. I love them all equally, you know. But
haven't had a bit of smoke for a while. Give me a bit of smoke.
Let's try this.
Because I like a smoky Irish whiskey, if I'm honest.
Me too. This is a black smoke. It's a peated blend, 43% ABV. Quite light in colour and in the nose notes of honey and floral notes there. And of course you're going to get a lot of peated smoke. Bit lower on the minerality, but very nice with the smoke. Quite heavy peated for Irish peated whiskey, and beautifully balanced. It's a great drop.
I'm going to say really floral.
Yes.
Really floral.
It is. I find like they're floral, a bit herbal, and a little bit of sweetness in the nose too. It's a great whiskey. I really love it.
Well, that floral note, that floralness of it, it's really sort of cut grass geranium type, sweet pea maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I get where you're coming from with the cut grass. And then obviously on the palate, it's got like a medium palate, let's say. Nice bit of length in it, smoke. A little bit like smoked bacon, a little bit of barbecue notes, but not too high on the TCP iodine kind of stuff. So yeah, really, really enjoyable, really, really nice.
That's very drinkable.
Thank you very much.
Even though, I'm going to say, that's probably heavier peated than you think it is.
It is quite heavily peated, yeah. I mean, it says it on the bottle there, heavy peat. Probably not as extreme as maybe some of the Islay scotches and what have you, but from an Irish perspective, yeah, it is quite heavily peated.
I think it's just not as deeply cut. It's not cut as late as an Islay would be, but that's quite heavily peated. And if people didn't particularly like an Islay, they might actually quite like that.
We've had great feedback today, and even from people who were, saying, well, I'm not sure about peated stuff, because it does often split the crowd, but they really loved it. And all sorts, men, women, all ages have really, really enjoyed it, so it's been great,
If I'm honest, if someone handed me that and said to me that's a heavily peated whiskey, on the nose I would say probably, no, hang on.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't necessarily think it was that heavily peated on the nose.
Sure.
Once it actually hits your tongue,
yeah,
it goes peaty real quickly.
Great.
But not in a heavy medicinal way.
Sure, exactly.
And
I think that's what we were trying to achieve, and to keep the drinkability high, but still keep the character and the smokiness to it, which is obviously really important in the style. One of the ones I like to drink too, in our portfolio. Love that one.
No, as I say, that's a really, really pleasant and easy to drink whiskey, which I think a lot of the time people want these very complicated, very complex spirits.
Sure.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be. It's got a level of complexity, but not challenging. It's not something you have to work at too hard.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think our style in general is we're really trying to make the whiskies accessible, approachable. Obviously, they need to have character and have their own kind of, I suppose, distinct flavour. But ultimately, it's about a pleasurable drinking experience as we see it, And if we can get liquid to lips because of the accessibility, I think that's a benefit for us,
I think mixologists could do wonders with that stuff.
Absolutely. I did try a penicillin cocktail, it was fantastic. It was an Irish twist on a penicillin cocktail. But yeah, there's loads of good stuff you can do with it. I could see a lot of stuff with herbs, things like rosemary, or a lot of floral kind of ingredients as well. It's a really good one. It's really, really versatile.
Do you know what I could see that going really, really well with? Tea. Like a lapsang souchong. That would nearly just turn an ordinary tea and Assam into a lapsang souchong very quickly.
I could see tea working really well. I could see it working well in any kind of cocktails where you might be using tequila or any kind of mezcal where there's a smokiness in it. Could work as a substitute there as well. It's really, really versatile. But you could go in a sweet direction with it too, I think, with honey and stuff like that.
So I don't really have a sweet palate, so I always go for the multi-sour rather than the sweet over sherry. I mean, but that's a really nice, easy drinking whiskey.
Yeah, glad you like it. Thanks so much.
That's really nice, Darren. That's really nice. I'm not going to take it up too long. I do have to say, I really like your branding. I think that looks really sharp. I really do.
Thank you very much.
And a lot of people buy with their eyes.
100%. I mean, look, there is a lot going on in the Irish whiskey space, so to cut out your own identity is really, really important. I think we've done that with the bottle. They are very distinctive. The brief was that they were designed to jump off the shelf.
Yeah.
And when you see this bottle, you can say, okay, that's a bottle from Blacks. made in Kinsale, and it really stands out. So I think we've achieved that. It's a bespoke bottle, obviously produced for us with a unique look, so we're really happy with it.
Yeah, and it's very tactile. It's very nice to feel as well.
Absolutely, nice weight to the bottle, embossed with blacks on here too.
Yeah.
So very, very unique and striking look.
It does. Darn, I'll let you go back to getting people as drunk as possible in as short a space of time as possible. I'll speak to you later on, buddy. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thanks.
Right, that's blacks. I know, that's really, really nice. Now, there's a big difference between what the Baileach are doing and what blacks do. And what I mean by that is Baileach, big impact flavour, really, really early, and probably slightly different cuts and stuff. What they're doing here, what that is something that is a very sort of, you can sit every day and drink that. Not suggesting you do, but it's a sort of everyday drinking whiskey with a nice, very heavy sort of peat content without it being overly phenolic. Really nice, really nice. So, come on round this way. Now, we were talking earlier on to the Baileach guys, and they were talking about terroir. We're going to talk about terroir on a different scale here in a wee second, if it's all right. Can I grab a chat with you?
Yeah, how are you?
What's your name?
Lauren.
Lauren, I'm Martin Macaulay from the Irish Whiskey Review. Okay, now, we're just talking to a guy around the corner who's talking about terroir.
Yeah.
You're from Waterford, so you do it on a totally different scale.
Absolutely.
Yeah, tell us. I think most people know by now, but tell us, remind us.
Well, we're coming to whiskey like a winemaker. So as in a winemaker would appreciate the grape, they're realising that it affects the flavour in the product. So we have the barley type, we have the soil it's grown in, we have the weather that year and the harvest, all of that affects the flavour. People were very sceptical that you would taste that in a whiskey.
I was, yes.
But in a wine, you really do, like, nobody questions it. And you can taste it. So we have here, we have Hookhead from County Wexford, and then we also have, so this one would be from County Leash. And the soil is different, and then also the barley type is different, and it creates a different flavour. Because when the barley gets to us, to our distillery, we treat it the exact same. So all of our timelines and the washback would be the same, the distillation is the same. So the difference really is the barley.
And one of the things that people can do is they can check it out themselves because of the terroir code in the back.
Yeah, so we have this terroir code. We now have it in a QR code, or the terroir code. You can type it into the website, and
you can put everything in there, and it comes up. And the amount of information you guys put out is just
because we really had to prove that we were doing it right. So you can see all of the timelines of the harvest and the distillation, and you can see the cask breakdown. Even there really is a lot of information there.
Now, what all have you brought here? I'll be honest with you, I love these caps.
I know,
I
the
genuinely
Vinlock.
love
So
the
no
Vinlock
cork or
caps.
plastic, it's all glass.
They are beautiful. Someone said to me, "Oh, they're very hard to get off."
So
I thought,
it's literally just you push it up with your thumb. Yeah. So you just
push it off. What's difficult about that?
But I think if people are trying to pull it off, it can be a little bit hard.
Yes.
It's just that.
Yes. I think these are people with very low IQs, if I'm honest. Not to criticise anybody watching this, but if you can't get that off, you really need to go and have a good, long, hard look at yourself. But anyway, now, what have you brought here?
Yeah, so this would be one of our most popular single farms. So it's Hookhead from County Wexford. So it's just that the barley is from one single farm and we've bottled it. So it's named after that farm.
The newly designed cuvee bottle, is that the...
Exactly. So this isn't out yet. This is going to be released on the 1st of April in Ireland. So it's Cuvée Kofi, and that's the name of the artist that designed this label.
Because it was Leah Hewson done the first one.
Sorry?
Leah Hewson done the first
yes,
Squiggly
she
Wine
did,
one?
Yeah. So that cuvee was our first cuvee of this kind, and it was 4 years, around that age. Whereas this one is a bit more mature, it's around 6 years old. We're still not focusing on that as the age, but it's a bit more mature. I love this, it's got a little bit of a licorice aftertaste that I find really nice. But it's still 50% and 6 years old. But we're getting really good quality because of all we're just putting a lot of time into the quality at each stage and the good quality Irish barley as well.
Yeah, I think what you do is out of this world. I was sceptical, I admit it, I was sceptical at the start, but what you've ended up doing is just unreal. Now, what's the next two?
Yeah, So this was a special release for our Growers Gathering Festival, but it's organic. So we don't add any chemicals to any of our whiskies. We're not using any, even our water is UV filtered. We're not using any caramel colouring, but the farmer would use fertiliser. Whereas this is from an organic farm, so the barley was grown on an organic farm.
I tried that about a year and a half ago, the organic one, and I thought it was superb. I really did. The biodynamic one, I wasn't just as keen. That's just personal preference, but I thought the organic one was out of this world. I really liked it. I've been.
The biodynamic has a bit of spice, so maybe it isn't for everyone, but a lot of people do really like it.
Just a slightly different makeup, and I preferred the organic. I thought it was superb. And what's the last one?
This is Lacken, so it's peated. So it's Irish peat and Irish barley. So we're using peat from Ballyteague in County Kildare and then barley from Wexford.
Now, whenever you say peated, like most things that Waterford do, you decided that a little bit of peat wasn't enough.
Yeah.
You decided to go all out on peat, correct?
So we do. Well, this one is 57 ppm. So we would have started with 38 ppm with our other whiskies, peated whiskies from before. So now we have these two new higher peated.
This is about as high as it's ever been for Irish peat.
Yeah, it is. And also because we're using the turf or the Irish peat, I find that it lasts just as long in the mouth, but it's not as harsh as the Scotch peat on the first flavour.
I have a work colleague who I work up in Belfast, up in a whisky shop, and he always goes, Irish whisky's kind of playing at it a little bit in comparison to Scotch. He's a big peat fan. He loves this.
No,
he thinks
honestly,
this is them going really for it. You know.
We're getting really good reviews with it. But we do have a bit of Scotch. Like these are double distilled.
Can I take a wee drop of this here, please?
Absolutely, yeah.
1 second.
Do you want more or less?
Oh no. Before we started filming this, I had about 10 before I got this far. So, yeah. How are you getting on at the festival?
Very good. Yeah, it's been great. The crowd are lovely.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just a different vibe, different feel to the one that we're from up in Belfast. So it's just a different feel. And honestly, it's amazing what they're doing here. Amazing. What Laurie's put together is superb. So, what's your favourite whiskey?
Here?
I have your lot. Okay,
I really like the Heritage. It's Heritage Hunter.
Oh,
yes. It's got some citrus afternotes. It's oily. It's quite different to anything we have, and because of that Heritage barley.
I love the fact that whenever Waterford started doing what they're going to do, I think a lot of people thought it was going to be very gimmicky.
Yeah, but it's all real. You know, it's just and it's going back to old roots and the ancient barleys.
I don't like to cast aspersions on anybody or any of that kind of stuff because I know how much work people put into lots of stuff. But there's loads of people say we're a brand from such and such a time, and we have been making whiskey since 200 years ago. The whiskey you make today cannot be the same as it was 200 years ago because they don't use the same barley varieties. But Waterford actually started to make stuff that was kind of that.
From tiny little samples from the Department of Agriculture archive, and we propagated it, and that is a really we're going to try other ancient barleys. So we're going back and not just the Hunter version, but other older barleys.
So we can expect to see more of these coming along. Excellent stuff. I remember, I know she's left the firm now, but Grace O'Reilly, when she was down there as the crop walker, I could never actually say what her job was. I made myself sound like a right arsehole because I couldn't actually say her ornament or whatever it was, right? But we chatted to her one time, and what she did down there was superb. And I mean, it's just carried on a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think we'll have more exciting things to come as well because, it started off with the terroir, but we have so many new projects like the biodynamic heritage heated.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I think what you did to start with, I was very sceptical of it. Loads of people were very sceptical of it. And how are they going to do this? It just sounds tough, but you did, and it. A lot of what you do, the cuvee when it first came out, I wasn't blown away by it, but there was a reason for that. I think it was only sort of 3-4 years old. You could tell that there was it was a good whiskey, but it was a young whiskey.
And we're not high, we are young,
and just,
all of our stuff is.
And I said it at the time, whenever we were chatting, we were doing the show and stuff, and I said, give this 3, 4, 5 years time, this will not be the same whiskey because just by flavour drift, I'll get better. I'll get much more.
Do you want to try the 6-year?
I'll stick with this.
Yeah, do.
I'll let you.
I've tasted so many now at this stage of it.
We're going for the peaty stuff at the minute. And once you go peat, you can't really
I know,
go back.
You'll never taste anything again.
No, so you like the Heritage Hunter?
I do, yeah.
And are you a brand ambassador?
Yeah, I'm sales, but I go to a lot of these events as well. So,
And what do you think of this one?
it's been lovely. The people have been lovely, and it's in a lovely venue as well. So I've really enjoyed it. It feels smaller, but there's actually a lot of people here as well. So it's
Loads of people. Where are you from yourself?
Tremor, Waterford.
Waterford. Yeah. Hey, brought up in Blas and such and such. Listen, I'll let you get on with what you're doing. I'll let you go on. But you have a festival coming up, don't you?
We do, yeah, on the 29th of June. So it's the Distillery Festival.
It's in the distillery.
Yeah. So we're going to have really good music, good food, a lot of whiskey, and you can just come in and see what we do.
Yeah, and say hello to Ned and Mark for me because they love it. Listen, take care. Right. Do you come from a land down under? We're going to try and sneak into this man here. But he's very busy. But I think he'll probably make time for us. Hopefully he'll make time for us. We'll move over in. We're going to get chatting to
How are you, Marty?
the man. He's actually standing the right way up. How you getting on, big man? You all right?
Good to see you.
Right. What all have you brought over?
So I did a festival bottling. So Laurie did 3 festival bottlings, and this is one of them. I sent him a bunch of samples, and he picked out this one. So
Must have been a chore for him. It must have been a real. No, God love the wee man. God love him. You know, it's big shoulders to take that on board. You know.
Right, I know, right? He's a good man.
Johnny, you seem to spend more time up this part of the world than you do in your own place.
I try to, yeah. Why wouldn't I? This is the best country on earth. Are you serious?
Well, it certainly is, yes. Correct.
That's
correct.
Right, I know.
Right, Kirsty, come over this way.
I don't just say that everywhere I go.
Because I hear you were talking to what I would consider the Queen of Irish Whiskey during the week.
I was. Helen is amazing. I love her.
She is. She will be watching, by the way. I was talking to her on a Thursday, I think it was. I was talking to her, and I says, "Look, we're going down to Cork." Oh, she said, "Oh, Kirsty up." I said, "All right. Oh, yeah." She says she has to meet you at some point. I says you can sort of skip that. You don't, not necessarily. Don't go out of your way. So.
Now, her and her husband are lovely. They're absolutely.
Alan.
Yeah, really nice.
Alan's a top guy.
And Ollie at the distillery as well. Fantastic. Like, they're just so lovely, and the distillery is amazing. I just can't wait to see it in a few years' time.
Oh, when Sazerac is going to spend money, you know, it's going to be some out of this world, But no, she told me she wouldn't have to see her. So, how you getting on in Cork?
Oh, love it, mate. Love it. You know, any whiskey festival you have over here is worth going to. Are you serious?
Yeah.
And you're at all of them, so you know we get to see you as well.
Put it like this, I would need a liver transplant if I went right, because they all seem to be popping up all the time now. But you guys must have lots of whiskey festivals in Tassie. You must have lots of whiskey festivals.
Yeah, we actually do Tas Whiskey Week. So I've got some cards here from Tas Whiskey Week. It's in August this year, so as soon as we finish Belfast Whiskey Week, we fly home and we do Tas Whiskey Week, and then we're hungover for a fortnight. So that's how it works.
So you're coming over for Belfast Whiskey Week then?
Yeah, can't wait.
We'll be there.
Excellent.
We're going to come to the Friend at Hand, check out the Irish Whiskey Museum. There's some plug for you.
Put it like this, the amount of shit Willie has bought since honest to God, you've no idea, man.
Oh, awesome.
Every week, not even every week, every day there's stuff arrives at that place.
Brilliant. Well, more to see when we come over.
It's unbelievable what he's done, you know. As I say, whenever you come over, and there's a bottle of transportation lurking about the place now, I have to say. There is a bottle of transportation lurking about the place.
Yeah, that's right. You've got one of the first releases there for the museum. It's a bit of an honour, yeah.
But no, it's whenever you come over, hasn't really changed the look, but the stuff that he's put in it's just...
Yeah. Oh, the place is phenomenal. You could spend a week there just checking everything out, or longer. It's amazing. Yeah.
I go in it. I'm in it all the time, but I don't work there full time. So when I pop in, it's like, where the hell did that come from? You know, he's bought a what? You know, You know the 46-year-old or the 44-year-old Bushmills that was released at Dubai Airport?
Yeah.
40 bottles in total. 7 of them now reside in the...
Have you tried it then?
No, he hasn't. Oh, no, those are all Willies.
Oh, he hasn't opened
So,
it yet.
no, they're all, 7 of the 40 have now made their way back to Belfast.
That's unreal. That is unreal.
It's unreal.
He's some man, isn't he?
He's some man for one man, I'll tell you that. Right, so what's the festival bottling? Explain the festival bottling to us.
The festival bottling, so as I said, I sent him a bunch of samples. This is the one he picked. It's a beautiful example of single pot still. That's that one there. It spent a year and a half in a port cask and then a year in Pedro Jimenez sherry. So 2.5 years old. In Australia, we have a 2-year minimum for whiskey, and we have an amazing environment in Tasmania for aging whiskey. Yeah. So it gets quite a rapid maturation with our temperature fluctuations, with our high and low pressure systems coming through. So it drinks well above its age, and at 52%, it drinks well below its ABV as well. So 60
malt, 30 unmalt, and
10 oats. That's right. Yeah. Get that nice creaminess. This other one here I haven't released this one yet, so it was only bottled a couple of days before St Paddy's Day, and so I've been busy ever since then, drinking like for St Paddy's Day, and then I flew over here, so I haven't even had a chance to release this one yet.
Your jet lag and stuff must be ripping the...
I'm pretty much, I don't know what's going on at the moment, to be honest. I'm still out of it, so, but it's worth coming over here and sharing the crack with all you guys and having a great time.
I come back from the States. It took me a week to get back. Back to that for a week. So this is bourbon, port, and sherry. PX sherry.
Yeah. So 50% of the liquid was actually second fill bourbon, so quite light and delicate, and then the other 50% of the liquid was actually first fill bourbon, first fill port, married together and finished in a second fill Pedro Jimenez cask. So not complicated. I just do things simply. But the result is what I was after for this particular one. I've called it coffin ship.
Oh.
That's how, when people had transportation, they used to go on the coffin ships.
Coffin ships.
And the picture there is the famine memorial in County Mayo, I believe that one is, yeah. So it all ties in with the story of transportation.
Yeah.
But, the liquid is what it's all about. You want to try some?
Go ahead. I'll try my best,
If I twist your arm, you'll give it a go.
I've been running around here. Honestly, I've been tasting so many really top quality whiskies.
Oh, mate.
There's so many good ones
I've got one under the counter bottle here, so I won a category gold at the World Whisky Awards.
I was just about to say that to you.
I've got that one there for you to try after you try this one here. So I was pretty proud. It won category like Best Australian Pot Still Whisky, so pretty proud about that.
I know, and some people think that's a sort of niche category. It's not really.
No,
there's a lot of whisky in Australia. Of whiskey in
Tasmania, we have over 100 distilleries, so about 65 or so, or maybe a few more, produce whisky. But for the size of our island and the population that we have, that's a lot of distilleries.
Yeah.
So
it's twice the amount that there is in Ireland,
Yeah. With only 500,000 people, so we don't mind a drop. And but at the end of the day, I think Middleton's spill more than our whole country makes.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Middleton Middleton's a sort of separate category of its own.
It is.
It's like Johnny Walker and Scotch. They're sort of different.
We just spent the day out there today, and Ger Buckley and Kevin O'Gorman took us through. We got to go into Warehouse A2, which that's some phenomenal whiskies in there, and we were very lucky to try some 20-year-old trad pot.
I was one of the very first people to do the Irish Whiskey Academy when it opened.
Oh yeah, unreal. Yeah.
Up in there, and it was the best. It was one of the cheapest things I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
One, the company I worked for at the time paid for it.
That made it cheap then, didn't it?
Down I went. I had to book a hotel.
Yeah.
The hotel was like €100.
Yeah.
I then went in, done the course. They gave me a bottle of Academy No. 1 blend.
Brilliant.
Then I'm up into the warehouse 18 to get all tasting all the various bits and bobs up in there.
Yeah.
And it cost me €100 Now, the bottle itself now is about €400,
That's right,
something like a
yeah,
€350
that's
euro.
right.
Something that's ridiculous.
I haven't
So,
tried that number one. I've got a bottle of the number two, but I haven't tried the number one. So I'll come round to your house and we'll crack that, I think.
Ollie, anytime you want to go around my house, you're always welcome.
All
Always
right,
welcome.
we'll be up there in July, so I'll hold you to that.
No problem at all. I live in a very tiny little village in a very small house, but I'm going to knock this and then try and that.
There you go, let's give this one a go then.
Now, this is the award-winning one.
It's a single cask strength. So it was aged for 3.5 years in a 70-year-old port barrel. So it held port for 70 years.
You held the port?
No. The barrel did. So the cask did, and then it's a big whiskey, a big fruity, 57% whiskey.
57.6.
Yeah, 57.6. Yeah.
And this one, best Australian pot still.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, that's up against the likes of these guys, Hunter's Island, all those kind of guys.
Yeah, so it's a big honour to just be recognised on the world stage, of course. Tasmania won so many awards, Sullivan's Cove, Hellier's Road. We had like Ambassador of the Year with Ali, Scottish Ambassador of the Year, Seamus from the Whisky Club. Tasmania just won so many amazing awards.
Can I put a tiny little bit of water in that?
Oh, 100%.
Because
it takes water well. Yeah.
Honestly.
And that's why I love getting a cask strength whiskey. You bring it down to what you find it best at. You can always add a little bit of water, but you can't take it out. So
that honestly, that is like, you know what that reminds me on? I don't smoke anymore.
Yeah.
But it's like having a really good cigar with a mouthful of jelly babies.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what that's like.
That's a wonderful tasting note right there. I might have to borrow that one. That's great.
That is superb. A wee touch of water in that, to be honest. Bring that maybe down to maybe 45 or thereabouts. A little tiny drop. Honestly, that's stunningly good. Right, give me 1 second. I mean, I know that maybe the non-whiskey drinking people, if you hear something saying it's like smoking a cigar with a mouthful of jelly babies, and the people go, honestly, that is fabulous stuff.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Oh man, well done. Wow. I've tasted some really nice stuff around here. That's probably the best I've tasted here so far. Wow.
All right, I'll pay you that $100 later for saying that. That was.
Buddy, I'd pay you quite happily $100 just to taste that. That's superb.
Thank you very much.
Wow. You really should be proud of yourself for that.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah, we're really lucky in Tasmania. We've got an amazing environment and amazing people, and we've got such a great. Everyone's friends. Everyone's it's a really good community that we've got, distilling community. Yeah, really proud to be a part of it.
I think you don't have many bottles of that left.
No, that one.
Yeah, I'm not shocked.
Whiskies, they sell out pretty quickly, which is a good problem to have, I suppose.
Yeah. Johnny, that is world class whiskey.
Thank you very much.
It really is.
Now we've also brought over Spring Bay, so Cam and Susie Brett. Susie's related to Barry Crockett, so just got distilling in her blood. We've got Belgrove here. Everyone over here knows Belgrove. Peter Bignell.
By association.
That's right. That's Cologne. But Brendan is Peter is an absolute genius. He's one of the best characters in the whole industry.
I have the Peter Oates and what's the other one I have open in the house? I have a rye and a Peter Oates in the house. Awesome. And they are fabulous.
Yeah, he's wonderful. And he grows the grain. He built the distillery himself. He's a science genius. He's a funny person. He's a great character. So we've also got Hobart whiskey, great single malt whiskey. and Christy with Kalara, of course. So we've brought over some amazing whiskies, as we always do, from Tasmania, and I'm very proud to represent them here in what I call the home of whiskey. It was invented here in Ireland, and yeah.
Honestly, that's left me kind of speechless. That's how good that is. That's absolutely fucking awesome. Well done. Right, I'm going to go.
Right, and it's always good to see you.
I'll see you.
You're a good man.
But like I'll see you in the summer.
That's right, we will.
When the weather gets better.
Does it get better? I don't know. Does it?
But I heard someone say the joke the other week there. American tourist is walking around Belfast. Stops this wee guy. Says, "Son, what age are you?" He says, "Oh, I'm 12." He says, "Tell me this. Does it ever stop raining here?" He says, "How the fuck would I know? I'm only 12." Not yet. Johnny, I'll speak to you sometime soon, mate. Oh, that is superb. Yeah. Now, we're going in here. We're going to sneak in here. I get talking to at least one of my favourite people. She's buggered off and left me.
At least one.
At least one. She's away.
Why am I not your favourite?
Oh no, I said at least one. How are you, buddy? How are you getting on?
What are yourself?
Oh, I can't complain. I'm over. I just tasted the Johnny's pot still that won the award there. That's super stuff. Really nice. Really nice.
Hi, Justin.
We have to Justin. Anyway, listen, we'll go down at your place. You've got lots of new stuff happening with yourself.
We do indeed. So we have two whiskies here tonight. So we've got our 5-year-old Distiller's Dew, which is
brand new
pot still and malt blend. Is a minimum of 5 years in bourbon and virgin American oak. And then we have our 7-year-old heavily peated single malt in cognac and orange liqueur casks.
I haven't tried. I've tried this on the quiet, but I haven't tried that one yet. Yeah. I was talking to a guy who I saw over here about 10 minutes ago, who let's just say he's very well respected in the whisky community. And what he said to me was, David is what I would consider a real spirits guy. And there's not many of those in the whisky world. Lots of people are very into whisky, but he was singing your praises. Phenom was saying about how, he's so complimentary about you, about what you do. What you guys are doing is totally different than anybody else is doing as well. I mean, you guys make absolutely top-class spirit. And different maturation, different mash bills, cut points, different casking strengths, the whole heap is different. So what, if you have these two new bottlings, this one here's your
Ryan Malt.
Yeah. Your Ryan Malt. And this is the distillery exclusive?
No. So what we have is our Distiller's Dew. So we've done a template, if you like, for this back last year at Belfast Whisky Week. But we've evolved that, so we've changed the cask recipe and the ratio of malt to pot still. So this is a new core expression. And for me, this really showcases the distillery character. So we're the first distillery to bring, with this blend's been done where both whiskies are from the same distillery. So what's been interesting and fun is actually being able to make it marry and showcase the distillery character, and this is what this expression is all about.
I mean, I've talked about your distillery endlessly to people, telling them if you go down, it's an engineer built it. It is very much you.
Yeah.
Very much you in design. Possibly a bit more Fiona in character, but you in design. Would that be fair enough?
That'd be fair enough.
Fair enough. But I mean, you have these like 4 stills that all integrate and do it totally different than anybody else is doing. And the stuff that you make is world class whiskey. I'll take my hat off to you. What one am I going to try now?
We'll try the Distiller's Dew.
Give me 1 second just to get a wee drop of water into this. Let you rinse this out.
It's important to hydrate at these events.
What?
It's important to hydrate at these events.
Put it like this. Before we started filming, I had about 8 whiskies before I started filming this. And then I've started round there and basically went all the way round to here and I have to keep going.
So this is coming out of the edited version then?
Oh, we're live streaming as we speak, so there is no hiding place. There never is with us.
So this is our Distiller's Dew. It's a blend of our malt and our pot still Irish whiskies. Say, pot still is 2/3 malt, 1/3 raw barley. Single malt. pot still is aged only in bourbon, but the malt has a portion of it aged in bourbon and also in virgin American oak as well.
I mean, again, you guys don't go do anything easy, you know. The way you guys do your stuff is very complicated, very complex, and it comes through in the character. And I think sometimes people when they see your stuff, and it's like, okay, right, if you're a whiskey nerd, it's superb. If you're a casual buyer, sometimes it's like, what is it? But once they taste it, it's like, wow, that is something else.
Well, everything we do is a flavour of journey, and what we want to do is to create those flavours yet to be found and recreate those that have been lost to time, and that is our focus and our obsession.
Now, whenever you just say that, it just sprung into my head. You have a very interesting cast coming along with Fanon. It's part of Fanon's project.
Yes, we are not getting into the details of that, but we've always got a project coming along.
But you did let slip that you had it.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because it's very Belfast-centric. Give us a little hint about it. Give us a little hint about it.
Okay, so we have recreated the mash bill of what was the Irish distillery, also known as Connswater. So we now have mature spirit of that recipe. For me, I'm from East Belfast originally, and I'm old enough, unfortunately, to remember what's left of both Avenel and Connswater.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of fun, you know, to recreate these things.
I personally, it's the things that I absolutely love about whiskey. I love that. I love that, because people talk about this sort of sometimes bought-in heritage, but when you actually get someone who's put the time, the effort, and the money, let's be honest, into producing a whiskey to try and recreate actually what was being drunk at that point. I love what Fanon's doing with the vintage mash bills.
Yeah. And we have something else as well that we're going to be working on with him, but we'll come to that. So what do you think of the whiskey? We haven't tried.
That's beautiful. It really is. I love all your whiskies, if I'm honest. I really do. I think what you do is just superb, and that's got a real sort of light character to it, but a nice body, but a light character.
Yeah. Well, for us, you get a lot of that sort of milk chocolate, a little bit of green orchard fruit, but excuse me, you very quickly get honeyed cereals, and then those orchard fruits become caramelized toffee apples, and you get that real sort of pot still creaminess, spice on the finish.
And then that little spiciness at the end, that just sort of picks up. It's nearly kind of like black pepper at the end. Yeah. It just sort of goes sort of estery all the way to black pepper there at the end.
And what we found was when we put this whiskey together was the malt is great, and the profile follows what we see of our single malt. But when we brought in the pot still actually amplified all the malt character, and then just brought that creaminess, that spice to the finish.
I love that's double distilled, yes.
Double distilled, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's got that lovely body to it, but the character's quite light, and then it goes spicy. It's very complicated.
That comes down to our stills where we've got ascending line arms. So if we could create a delicate.
Come on, David. You've got ascending, but you could probably do that and put it descending, correct?
No. They only point upwards.
No, I mean, I love what you do. I really do. And something that I absolutely adore. I see that Cork. The Cork with your name around it, I absolutely love that.
Fiona gets the credit for that because she pushed hard to get something really on the stopper.
Fiona gets loads of credit, but she's over there. No, won't even come and speak to me. No, she's chatting away. I'm only carrying on. But no, price point for these whiskies.
So the Distiller's Duo is coming out at what we think is a really reasonable price of $55.
That's really, really.
It's an age statement, distillery owned. There's no blend. There's no grain in there. There's only pot still distilled whiskies.
Yeah, I mean, there's some whiskies that are floating about at the minute, and the price point they're asking for them is just stupid. I mean, it really is. I mean, you guys bring out your own stuff under Short Cross, and it's really, really complicated, really, really nice, really, really well done. And complicated and different, totally mature, differently than everybody else. I really like it. I take my hat off to you, mate. I really do.
Well, everything we do is an obsession with flavour. It is that journey of flavour from the mash bills to how we brew in, to fermentation time of 6 to 7 days, double distilling. Like we have done some triple distilling.
I'm not shocked at this.
Well,
knowing you, I know what you do.
There's different ways to create flavors and aromas, and that's what it's all about.
And your location is beautiful. I mean, if you haven't been down to the distillery, take yourself down a day, because honestly, the setting that it's in, down in the estate, and the fact once you go in, you know that he's an engineer, because everything's all perfect lines and it does this. It's not like most other distilleries, and you're still doing the gin school and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but look, we make gin because we're gin fanatics. We love gin, and that's why we do gin. Gin for us isn't a way to get to A to B. Gin is every bit as important for us as what we do with the whiskey as well.
Yeah.
And you make what you love.
I mean, as I say, Fanon, and I'm sure you don't mind me saying this. I mean, Fanon said to me, he said, out of all of them, David's a real spirits guy, and I totally get that. I mean, that's kind of your thing. You love all different. I mean, you love Armagnacs and cognacs and stuff. You love all that as well.
Yeah, we love food and drink, and that's the reason that we're here. It's just I like the drink bit a little bit more than And the thing is, we have things like gin and whiskey. It's actually quite a creative process in terms of what you can do with different casks and mash bills, cup points and everything else. So yeah.
I mean, hats off to what all you do. Now, I'm going to try and grab her for 2 seconds, because every time I go to speak to her, she runs away on me. Fiona, come here, give me a hug. Give me a hug. There you go. How you getting on? All right? See, there's 2 of my 2 favourite people in Ireland now. So, well, one that doesn't run away on me, get him over. Here, I'll see you later on, David. Take care, buddy. That's a beautiful whiskey. Oh. Hello, how you getting on? I'm all right. How's you?
I'm tearing away, not easy, of course.
I'm drinking away. I'm drinking away here.
That's all right.
Excuse me.
Hydration.
This is going to be a long day for me.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's Sunday, the 7th.
So you're Skellig 6.
We're Skellig 618, based in Carsavine in County Kerry. Visitor centre and distillery. Launched our gin just before COVID. And now we have a couple of different whiskey expressions on the go.
You're from Kerry?
I am indeed.
You know you're in Cork?
We all have our crosses to bear.
I know. You must be getting paid some heap of money to cross over to from Kerry into Cork.
It's all passion, of course. A passion project.
Right. Tell me this. Is this your own spirit?
No, we're sourcing at the moment. 2 of our stills have arrived from Italy. Our big one is to arrive later this year. And going forward, we will be making our own.
And what style of whiskey do you want to do?
Pot still is what we'll be focused on mostly.
Pot still? Give me an idea of mash bill, because pot still is a slightly different, a slightly wider brush than people talk about. Pot. So, give me an idea of your mash bills. What you want to do?
What we're doing right now is just we're experimenting with different wood finishes with our pot still right now, matured in bourbon, and then finished 90% in PX. 10% in a peated Scottish whisky cask, just to create a little bit of smoke there.
Yeah.
Not a big peat taste, but a little bit of smoke. So
I always think it's slightly more smoky than peat.
Agreed. Yeah. I think that's okay.
And is that the style you want to go?
I think that's what we're going for. That'll always be our core range. We have a blended whisky as well, but going forward, experimenting with different woods this year. But always our core range will be the single pots.
I've seen
this is our cast strength version of the single pots.
I've seen your bottles about for a long time, and I really quite like the branding.
Thank you.
I think it's quite a nice, straightforward sort of bottling. I've seen them about. You had a slightly different bottle.
So our blue label is our small batch.
The blue label, that was a small batch one. Yeah.
Our grey label is our single pot still. And then we have a distillery exclusive every year. This was last year's, the cast strength of the pot still. This year is going to be something a little different.
What price are these?
46 for the small batch blend, 60 for the limited edition single pot still, and then 90 for the distillery exclusive. I've only 28 bottles of this left.
You've only 28 bottles left. Where are you located at exactly?
Carsavine, County Kerry.
Carrickaveen.
Right on the Ring of Kerry.
Right on the Ring of Kerry. Yes. I was down the Ring of Kerry last year. I had a tour down round the Ring of Kerry. It's the most beautiful place. It really is.
Absolutely. Completely understandable.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand. I can understand somebody from Cork going to Kerry, not necessarily the other way around.
Well, money to be made.
Where's Laurie O'Dwyer? I don't want him shooting me from somewhere.
Probably sticking it underneath your feet. Yeah.
Can you get this in Northern Ireland, up in the north?
Just give me one more. No, not at the moment.
Not just at the minute. Not just at the minute.
But
I didn't think so.
We will ship all over the islands.
So if you want this, you can go and ship on it, or Irish malts, or any of these guys.
Celtic Whisky Store, direct from our website.
Exactly. So you can pick it up, order it through order online. When are your distillery? When are you getting the pot stills in?
We hope to get our big one in here in this year, and then I don't know myself, to be honest.
But they'll be up and running. For any of you that don't know, Skellig is down Star Wars country. This is where Star Wars was filmed. Luke Skywalker decided he'd had enough of Darth Vader, enough of Andor, and all them places, so he went to Kerry.
Of course, like all great men.
If you want to get lost, Kerry's the place to go and get lost at.
Yeah. Left alone.
Yeah. Oh, nobody's going to bother you down there. Yeah. If you've never done the Ring of Kerry, honest to God, get yourself down. It is. You go from one bit to another bit to another bit, going, oh my God, that's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Absolutely.
And then you come down and what's the name of the big gap, the valley? Yeah, absolutely stunning.
Spectacular.
Stunning part of the world. Listen, enjoy yourself. Hope you've had a really nice festival. How'd you find the festival?
Oh, it's my first time here. It's really good. Yeah, enjoyed it.
Yeah, but it's in Cork. When's the Kerry Festival coming along? The Ring of Kerry Whisky Festival.
A year's time.
Listen, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. I'm just finishing off my short cross there. Honestly, that short cross stuff, just absolutely fabulous. Now, I want to get a chat in with this man in a wee minute down to Pierce Lyons Distillery, because if I'm honest, I will nip. He's talking to somebody. We're going to nip down and say hello to the Dingle Man. To the Dingle Man. We'll see if we can get a bit of a yarn with some Dingle Men. How are you getting on?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm all right, buddy. I don't think I've had your acquaintance before, have I?
Excuse me?
I've never met your acquaintance before, have I?
No. I'm only just after starting with the Dingle Distillery crowd.
So what's your name?
Fiach Lynch.
Fiach Lynch.
Yeah.
I believe you've had someone decided to up sticks and leave.
Yeah,
left yesterday.
Unfortunately, yeah. Our master distiller Graham is unfortunately moving back to Scotland. He's sadly missed now, but in fairness, he put down a fantastic 5 years with us and created some really great whiskies in the process.
He did. And I know he sort of fell in love with the place, but he's moved on. He's moved away. So what's next for Dingle then? Who's taking over? What's happening?
We're actually very lucky. We have Paddy Foley, who's going to take over, and basically what Paddy's job before he got the head distiller's job was he was in charge of the maturation program at the Dingle Distillery. So himself and Graham have actually spent a lot of time working closely together, and I'm sure Paddy has picked up a lot of knowledge off Graham. So we're not at all concerned about things going forward, because Paddy's very capable, very knowledgeable, and he has a deep love for the Dingle Distillery and Dingletown itself. So
well, all I know is I know a guy called Vic Cameron who does over in the Edinburgh Whisky Academy. What Vic doesn't know about whisky's not worth knowing. And he said when Graham Cole went to Dingle, he said they've got the best distiller in Scotland. Came over, and if you had 5 years of that man, you've done really, really well.
Yeah.
And I mean, what you guys do down there has been super from day one. And going forward, absolutely superb. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, no, look, Graham and his wife Faye.
Hey, lovely girl.
One thing that they did phenomenally well is that they embedded themselves in the Dingle community. They got involved with all the pubs, and then as well as that, Graham was luckily he was able to impart a lot of his knowledge onto the Dingle maturation process, and we've had some fantastic releases in his time. Obviously, we've had our first consistent single malt release, and then we have the 9-part series Celtic Whisky Wheel as well. We're just over halfway through that now. We've had 6 releases. We're going to have 9 in total, and again, so even after Graham leaves, we're going to see his impression and his effect coming in even months after he's left the distillery. So it's great.
What oldie have you brought down here?
So we brought 4 out of the available 6. We have our Bealtaine, which is our pot still for that release. We have our Conant and Arig, which is our spring equinox, which just took place a couple of days ago. We have our Greenstad and Hierig, which refers to the winter time, something that we're very used to down in Dingle. And then we have our Lunasa as well, so more of a summery brighter side to things as well. And each one of these ones are all matured in a bourbon cask. They're all finished in a different cask. And that ranges from Shiraz cask, Cabernet Sauvignon, we have Widow Jane bourbon cask, and we have Tawny port casks as well.
Which one's the Shiraz cask again? Which one's the Shiraz cask?
So the Shiraz cask is the...
That's the... Aye, give me that one.
This is our pot still one, yes.
Give me a trial of that, because I like the Shiraz one. I tried that before, really liked it. I mean, you guys, I loved the initial releases of Dingle. I thought they were such complex maturations, the port and Marsala, and bounced about and married the nest and cutting it. And for a lot of people in the Irish whiskey world, it was kind of a new thing, because Dingle were really the first out of all the new distilleries back in 2012, 2011,
2012, yeah.
And you guys were really the first of the first. And for people who were growing up in Bushmills and Jameson, along come you guys with port and PX, and then moved into Oloroso and moved out of Oloroso and all the stuff that you did. And it blew people away, it really did. And you've sort of carried that on in a slightly different way, but you've carried it on. You're saying there about the 6 out of the 9 have been released. What's the next one? I mean, I know you've just released one.
So the next one will be released in May, in 3 months' time. Yeah, and then 3 months after that, and then it'll finish up at the winter time as well, and that'll complete the 9-part series. And then, look, the last one, I'm not going to give away too much because I'd be murdered, but the last release for this 9-part series is going to be in homage to the Dingle Town as well. So a nice little tip of the hat to the Dingle Town, because without the town support, Dingle Distillery wouldn't really be where it is today.
I mean, you guys, your visitor experience has changed in the last little while. You've basically doubled the size of it. I mean, basically, it's totally different since I was last down there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every year you're seeing a different development. You're seeing the whiskey range is obviously growing all the time, coming into a very exciting time with the Dingle Distillery, because you're looking at whiskies now that have had 10 plus years worth of maturation. So we're really getting to coming into our stride. Like you mentioned, that the maturation program has been something that has been a fundamental aspect to the success of the distillery, because they have so many fantastic casks to work with, and they're creating so many interesting blends, interesting maturations, interesting single malts and pot stills. So again, every year you're seeing something different. You're seeing that the distillery develop in a slightly different way every time. And it's just brilliant, it's fantastic, and it's only going to get better. The Dingles, like I said, coming into their stride now.
I mean, you have all these different releases, all these lovely things, collections, the whole heap. I mean, you guys, you were really the first to do the whole lot. You really were, and it's such a pleasure to see you starting to move on and doing even more and more and more. So congratulations. I know you got awarded the world's best gin a few years ago.
You did, yeah.
You got the whole heap. And
got it all going.
What more?
It helps that we come from one of the most beautiful places on earth as well.
But all I will say, I live up in the very far. I live about as far away from you as possible in Ireland.
Possible.
I live up in Glenarm, right up in the North Antrim coast.
Oh, lovely.
And I have to say, you're about the second nicest place in the whole Ireland. The second nicest place is down in Dingle.
I'm sensing a bit of bias here.
That vote's rigged, son. That vote's rigged. But that's the first I've tasted. Or, sorry, not the first I've tasted that one. That's the Shiraz finished one. It's really very licorice, very, very heavy aniseed, lovely Bertie Bassett licorice, all sorts.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's beautiful, lovely. I'll let you get back to loads of other people. Listen, I'll get talking to you again. Take care. Take care. Now, we're going to nip over here. Now, I'm going to come over and say hello.
Hello.
How you getting on? I'm Martin McCauley. How you getting on?
I know exactly who you are, Martin. Conor Ryan with Pierce Lyons.
Yes. Conor, listen, I've been round here, I feel as if I've been here for about 3 days talking to everybody. This is some event.
This is day 2 of year 2. And, well, I'm not saying it's felt like a year or anything like that, but no, I absolutely love Cork Whisky Fest. I love the setup of it and the interaction with people. You know, it's just such a chilled, relaxed environment, and everybody who comes up to meet you really wants to get involved in the brand story of who you are and what you're doing?
Well, put it like this, the Pierce Lyons brand story of what you are and what you're doing and where you are is totally unique to Ireland. Someone said to me 2 weeks ago, they said to me, I want to go to a distillery in Dublin. They pick Teeling or Bow Street. I said, pick Pierce Lyons, because the distillery that you guys have is probably the most beautiful one I've ever been in my life.
Yeah, genuinely, there's nowhere else like it. If I could actually show you the key that I have to get into work, it's like a metal baton. I mean, you know you work somewhere special when the key to get into work is about a foot long, right? But it is truly a unique place. Obviously, a renovated church in St. James's Street, distilling whiskey, and the whole premise behind it is fantastic. But I suppose the Pierce Lyons and the Lyons family put it there because that used to be Pierce Lyons' family's attending church. He's got 9 relatives buried in the graveyard, so it was done out of a sense of respect for a building that was closed down, falling down, and a link to that community. But it is truly special.
I mean, it is truly special. From the beautiful, piercing blue crystal, almost like a crystal hanging up.
That's why we produced this one here. It's a special release from the distillery called our Genesis release, and it's the first fully distilled malt to be produced on the altar of St. James, and that's why it's in a salute to the spire of the Liberty's lantern.
You guys have been distilling longer than you've been in your house.
Yeah, we've an unusual origin story. So we've 2 origins. We started distilling in 2012 in O'Hara's Brewing in Carlow. So before the distillery opened, just as the distillery was bought, it was ended up getting turned into a national monument. So the plan for renovating it to a point where you could distill inside it was out the window. So Pierce Lyons knew Seamus O'Hara from the Alltech Brews and Foods Festival, and we had the opportunity to distill, and very luckily, distill in Carlow since 2012, and we distilled there for 3 years. So that was our first start, and then our second start is when we started distilling in Dublin in 2017. So I mean, I have whiskey here today that we distilled in Carlow, a cask sample that we distilled in Carlow back in 2012. And this one here is whiskey that was the first whiskey that was distilled in Dublin in 2017. So we've got kind of 2 firsts for 1 brand, which is so in a way the whiskey that was produced in Carlow is actually from a silent distillery at this stage, because like technically the still doesn't exist. The distillery doesn't exist, but the same stills were moved from there to Dublin and dropped into the roof.
Yeah, I was down in Pierce Lyons in 2018, I think it was, whenever I first went down, and you guys had just sort of got up, just finding your feet. I was totally blown away by it. You're walking around, and you had these wooden fermenting tubs. I call them tubs because they were these out of wood, and there's kind of flies buzzing about in the top of them and stuff. And I was like, my God, this is totally different than anything else in Ireland. There's nothing like this in Ireland.
So they're Oregon pine timber washbacks. They're 1,000 litres each, and 2 of them goes into a wash still. So our wash still will be 2,500 litres, and our spirit still. The spirit still has got a very unique story to it too. It's 1,200 litres, but there's our spirit still, as you'll see from the picture here, with a 4
sort of hybrid still.
4 rectifying plates on it, and it's got its own inclusion in the Irish Whiskey Technical File. And I suppose what's interesting about it is back in 2014, when that was written in, that still opened up the option for craft distillers to bring in weird and wonderful stills into Ireland, because before that they always had to be your traditional copper bulbous pot still. So it's got a great story for 2 reasons. It got its own inclusion in the technical file, and it was one of the first stills to be. There used to be a limit, a size limit on stills of 1,800 litres, I think. because that was 12, that broke that rule as well, because the 1800 litre was there to kind of stop people producing on small pots, so your pochines and whatnot. And obviously at the moment, everybody wants pochine because it's fantastic. Even I'm actually showing people an example of our new make here today, and it's an old Jones Road recipe, a DWD recipe from the early 1900s that Fionnán O'Connor kindly worked with us. You can't talk about whiskey unless you mention Fionnán O'Connor.
The ephemeral. Whatever he is.
So this here would be 35% malted barley, 35% raw barley, and 10, 10 and 10 of oats, wheat and rye.
Right, hang on.
Oh, very good.
Fire us up there, Connor. Fire us up, son.
And again, all the grain that we use here is grown by ourselves in our farm in Dunboyne, 25 kilometres from the distillery.
Right. Just
63%.
Oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Now, let's just talk a little bit about Pierce Lyons, because who was he? Because loads of people have heard the name, they've seen the whiskey, but they don't actually know who he was. The man was an absolute genius.
Absolutely.
I mean, he absolutely was.
An entrepreneur to the core. Pierce himself was a brewer and distiller at heart. People, if you Google him, people will know him as a business.
An animal feed man.
Animal feed, yeast. But it was brewing and distilling that brought him into the animal feed side of things. So Pierce, at one stage, he worked with Diageo in the Harp Brewery in Dundalk. He's from Dundalk originally. After that, would you believe, he worked in the lab in Johns Lane. So he actually originally worked in the Johns Lane plant, and he was one of the engineers that designed and commissioned Middleton Distillery. The actual Middleton Distillery is down here, that opened in 1975. I mean, when Pierce sadly and suddenly passed away in 2018, a private man like Barry Crockett came out with a public statement saying that he was a breath of fresh air when he joined the company, and, and that he was instrumental in the revival of Irish whiskey. And likewise with Irish distillers, they put out a statement about Pierce. So Pierce is a brewer and distiller at heart, and that's what and obviously yeast is the building blocks for brewing, which is the building blocks for distilling. So his interest in yeast, and after he went away to do his PhD in biochemistry and fermentation, that's what brought him into the animal feed side of things. And he had the opportunity then to come back to brewing distilling in 1999 when he bought a closing down brewery in Lexington, Kentucky, and opened up Lexington Brewing and Distilling. The distilling part got added in 2018. And actually I'm showing people some of our American single malt here as well, because it's going to be a component in our new Irish and American blended malt that's coming out next month.
So there's a hybrid there.
There's a hybrid there.
The one thing you left out is he also became a billionaire between leaving there and sort of that. When you say he had the opportunity, he also had the money.
He also had the money from being successful at what he did.
Very successful.
Yeah. One of Pierce's, I suppose, quoted lines is, "It's not about making money, it's about making a difference."
Yeah.
And to be fair to him, he made an unbelievable difference in all the places where he was. Massive for philanthropy, massive for giving to charity, and very well known for it.
Well, he also opened up the Muhammad Ali Centre in Louisville, Kentucky. Anybody who has any association with Muhammad Ali is all right in my book, to be honest.
And sponsoring things like the World Equestrian Games, and and loads of charitable stuff around the world. It's unbelievable.
It's sort of local boy done good.
Certainly. And his son, Mark Lyons, our CEO and president now, he also followed exactly in his dad's footsteps, done his master's in Harriet Watt in brewing and distilling, done his PhD in fermentation and biochemistry, and like the family now is 7 generations involved in the Dublin whiskey industry, because it's very hard to get all the information in, but 5 generations before Pierce got involved in it, there were Coopers in Dublin. They had a Cooperage down in Smithfield, the Duns, and they were actually the last people. We just mentioned this guy, look at him.
Come on in here.
Come in.
Come over in here.
I didn't want to say your name if you weren't coming in. So,
you know what he's like? He's like the candy man. You mentioned his name 3 times, not me, Pops.
Do you know what we're tasting right now? Jones Road New Make.
This is literally an impromptu affair. It's not staged or planned.
No, it was staged. Honest to God, we
Irish
planned
Whiskey
it.
Reviews known for the stage. This whole night has actually been staged.
The way
You
you
are
just drifted in.
viewing pleasure, actually.
No, so the Jones Road mash bill. This has now popped up. This is what is it again? Explain
So
it.
it's 35% malted, 35% raw in the barley, and then 10, 10, and 10. Just the easiest way to explain it: oats, wheat, and rye. Because there's a 10.1, there's a 9.8. You know, we just go
It's
10,
on
10, 10.
hundredweight sacks originally.
Yeah. Okay.
But for me, it was. I remember firing this mash, and I brought it to Conor because it was when we're talking about how Potstill will pending to be redefined with the 30-30-30 oats, wheat, and rye. Just by accident, here was an historical mash that had the 30% cleanly divided between the three non-barley ingredients. They didn't intend to make it that way, they just happened to. And you had the maxed out adjuncts, but divided evenly between the oats, wheat, and rye. I think this is a glimmer of what Potstill might be, based on a fragment of what it was. You know, it's a strange, and it was a fascinating story. It was literally, I found this stuff. So Jones's Road Distillery was the first of the Victorian Dublin distilleries that was not a family concern. It wasn't the Jemiesons or the Rose or the Powers. It was a consortium of businessmen who started, when times were good, a distillery. And their take on Potstill, and it was very much an amalgam of what was going on at the time. New entrants saying, well, okay, what is this thing that we're making? Okay, this is how we'll make it. They poached staff infamously from Powers. I know that because I found this stuff in the Powers archives. So there's some talk of like one guy literally went from Powers to Jones's Road and then came back a year later.
With another recipe.
And for some reason, the Jones's Road stuff is in, you know.
Oh, listen, try this here. I've never seen it before.
Yeah. Industrial espionage. You know, Slugworth at the Wonka factory, you know, an everlasting gobstopper, you know.
Sort of butterscotchy,
Loads of sweetness, almost vanilla without it ever touching wood. There's a powdered kind of icing sugar kind of nose.
It's quite butterscotchy, you know. Nice, a floral sort of note there somewhere,
and
like sweet peas or something.
You can get such a sense of the grain of the raw grain that it's produced from. It's so cereal forward. It's spectacular.
Really nice.
Barnyard smell.
Yeah.
Or even very like mulch, you know.
Yeah. It's not, I say floral, but that's kind of what it's like. It's like that sort of.
Yeah.
You know that
and wet leaves, kind of mulch.
You know that bit and below the. You know that bit and below the lawnmower? We know whenever it gets clogged up wet.
That bit of work nobody wants to do.
I better turn it on the side so it doesn't cut my fingers off. Yes, that's the one. That's lovely. But it is the most beautiful distillery in Ireland. I genuinely think it's superb. Right, I'm going to go because I've probably had about 40 drinks by now, and I need to try and figure out some way of negotiating my way up the stairs.
Lightning lights are kind of an eerie reminder of, you know, the higher powers above us telling us, you know, what we can and cannot.
After 40 drinks, there's a Cork institution that you need to check out across the road, and it's Hillbilly's Chicken. After Hillbilly's, it's everything will straighten itself out.
I might have to go and see my girlfriend and see if she still loves me. But yeah, I mean that's event's been superb. There's so many guys that I've never seen as many different guys from Ireland all clocked in around. It's really superb, really good. Are you?
7 days.
They don't do food, but they're open on a Sunday.
Yeah.
But right.
I might need your opinion. As far as I can tell, the greasiest chipper in the world, I'll call it Britain, Ireland, wherever, is Lennox across the road. Can I get a second opinion on that?
Justin, is it going to be the green? Justin's bound to have ate in there. He's ate in every place in Ireland.
I could use a second opinion.
Justin, I know where we're going. I know where you're going next.
Lennox is an old Cork institution. It's open at 3 in the morning. I've never actually encountered it
what you're trying to say is Justin can have it for dessert.
Yeah.
I have never been in a whiskey distillery in my life.
No, Lennox is across the street. It's a chip street.
A classic Cork chipper.
Across the road.
Oh, the chip shop.
The premier.
Oh yes, I have.
The premier 3M insertion.
Good job. Oh yes. And son of a bun's lovely as well. Son of a bun.
Right, we're going to sign off here. We're going to sign off. We're going to sign off. I haven't got around half the people in here. Wish I had, but we'll get back to everybody. Justin's going to come over and say bye, au revoir. He's going to.
We better say bye-bye. We better say bye.
Guys, listen. That's a hell of an event.
You know how long you've been going for? Not half an hour. Say 2.5 hours.
I didn't mean to.
I know.
I didn't mean to.
But it was very good. It was.
It's
very
unreal.
Good.
Aye, just a superb out of this world. Sign off. We'll try and get round everybody that we didn't get round at some other point.
We're halfway around. We'll give out the cards and get them to talk to us all on air on a Saturday night. Same time, same place, 10 p.m. YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Telegram, Twitch, Twitter, and wherever you get your podcasts from. Night night.
Au revoir.